Hello again, everybody. Previously, what we have seen, a couple of different methods of how to mask a cake. So after we are achieving reasonable good, geometrically correct masking a cake with a well-conditioned ganache, next thing we're targeting, coating the cake with a nice, smooth, faultlessly with rolling fondant. So that's obviously between that masking step and coating step, there is one important step that we should never underestimate or underemphasize. So that is rolling the fondant. In this tutorial, I like to leave the cake on the side. I don't want to go so far because I don't want to lose time. So normally what we do, we take the cake, put it aside, make sure the cake is well conditioned, nice tempered, cold and sticky on the surface. And then we roll the fondant and we put the fondant on the cake. And then we do these little steps and then make sure that this fondant hugging the cake nicely, we have a good, nice result. So in that action, we will deal, actually, we have 3 problems to deal with. We should never complain about those problems because we cannot live without them. First thing is the gravity. Gravity pulling the fondant down, maybe causing some tearing. And then the air is causing some sort of like a dry skin on the surface. Can also happen that if you don't do it quick enough with some cracks. Okay, so more time we take and then it will have more potential problems we will face. That's why I will not have any cake today. I just leave it to the next tutorial, the coating business. Today is I like to take the pressure off, talk about only the essential points of this rolling the fondant, at the same time fondant itself. So let's start with the very basic principles and what kind of tools we're going to use, how we choose them, or sometimes how we made them. I have few choices of rollers here, and then everyone has got different purpose. So I cannot say you can have one roller and you can do everything with that. So, but every single one has got also some positive, some negative parts. So if I take this roller, for example, it's nice and smooth, very straight and heavy. Heaviness is help you to roll without pushing too much down, of course, but the handles are fixed. It's not really turning on its own. So when you're rolling like this, you have to keep it loose that it just slides in your hand. So I won't use this one for fondant. I will maybe use it for puff pastry or something, but not my first preference. So this roller is what I'm using over the last more than 25 years. And then it's quite old, surface is not really smooth anymore, and then one arm is broken. I fixed it with the sticky tape, so it's all fine. But the good thing is every handle is individually turning, not even that this one turns with that, and then it's all individually. This is a very good thing. And then I have enough space over here when I holding like this, my hands is not touching the table. And then it's also heavy, that helps me to roll it quickly. And also the best thing is the size is about 40 centimeters long, so I can roll quite a large fondant with that. So most of the time I use that for large pieces, and maybe just don't use that one for grabbing the fondant and taking over the cake. I will use probably this one for that. That is the commonly seen non-stick rolling pin. Good thing about is a nice shape, and then after that it's just the height, also like the size is good, and then also the width is the size. This size is also good because you can roll quite a large one. But the negative thing is I can't do what I do with that because it doesn't slide on the fondant. So I use sliding on the fondant, the method, maybe just something not common, but also I prefer, if I have this too, I prefer that one. I can live with that, no problem at all. Another negative thing is over here, you have to keep them always straight on the table or straight surface. If you put them something like this, there's a little gap underneath, that will, in about a couple of days, it will just bend a little bit. So you have to put it back again straight, it's straight away. It's funny, but it's true. So nothing against it, but I prefer that one. So that is the PVC pipe. I just use it all the time because quite light. So it doesn't do the job of pressing the fondant on itself, but I can just use my own power to press it down. A good thing about it's light, and then good thing about I can cut it any size. So if I have something big pieces to roll over the pin and then just bring it to the cake, I can do this. and then also slides on the fondant, which I will show you while I'm doing it, is a pretty good point. I prefer starch instead of ice and sugar. Why? Because it's drier, finer, and then also like dusting very easily. I use them in two different ways. One is in the socks, in the sock, of course, the new one, and then another one is a shaker. So if it's large amount, beginning with this, maybe continue with that, and also if I have something very small, I use this one. Pins, that poking pins is very helpful. Always you must have standby, and then make sure you poke them in something so visible like this, and then you know that this phone number, and then you have to finish your job. You see that phone number is here. If you're missing one, you're in trouble. You have to just make sure that to find this back again from your cake, maybe pick up from the surface. I don't know. So large, long one. For a larger holes, especially when you're beginning the fondant, but at the end, then you want to have just very small bubbles out. You use the very thin one here. All right. Dry and wet towel, crucial. Why? We are constantly under attack of environment dust. So if I clean this table perfectly last night, and if I have to roll fondant this morning, I will have problem, because in between these 6 or 10 hours or 12 hours, there's a dust that appears on this table, and then the fondant pick every single dot of it, every single dust, and then you can see them. So that's why I have to use white towels, preferably, and because every other towel which is color inside has got some maybe just little things which is little hair bits that's left on the table, especially when it's wet and sticky on the table. So I prefer white, one dry, one wet. It will give me the job. So how thick we have to roll the fondant? This is always a question. It's better to have some guides, 2 pieces of course, left and right, and roll the fondant, especially just the finishing rolling in between these guides that you have achieved. You can achieve exactly the thickness what you're looking for. I have this 2 mm. It's just basically I cut a stripe from the cardboard because couldn't find anything else 2 mm that size. And I join these two together into 4 mm, and then quite a nice piece, long piece like this, like that, these two. So that's my most preferred thickness, 4 mm. I'm not saying always I use it, but 4 mm is quite good. And these are my old blind pieces. So when I changed my old blind with the new one, I kept a couple of stripes, the rest I throw away. It's a very good thing because exactly 3 mm and also straight and light. So that's all about the tools that what we should choose, what we should sort of like organize some ourselves. And then if we have all those things over here, maybe just this one and that one, maybe this one, 1, 2, 3, and you will have the good achievement with rolling. Next thing I like to bring the fondant, which is the only ingredients that we use for the rolling. There is quite a few interesting points that I talk about it, because it's important what we expect from a good fondant. As only ingredients in this tutorial, we need to have a fondant to show you how to do the rolling. So if you go to market and then search, you will come across to tens of different fondants. So everyone is a bit different, like everyone has a different taste, different texture, different color, even that very much similar into each other, all right? So, and every single person who decorate cakes will have the personal choice for some reasons, also personal. Like they like the color, they like the taste, they like the texture, and then I think most importantly that they're used to it and they don't want to change anything, they just want to continue with that. And that's it. So I didn't have any choice for many years, and I came a lot of questions in the past that which fondant I prefer. So I was using my own fondant for many years, 25 years long, and tons of it. So later on, I get really tired because 50 kilo of fondant to take it from the mixer and then put them in the bags, it's quite like an effort, quite a sort of physical work you need. So I get tired and then start buying fondant products from outside. I bought a little bit this, a little bit that, a little bit. I didn't have any kind of preferred fondant. I can say this is my most preferred fondant. So then one day, some time ago, this company walked in and then they said, "Can you try this?" I said, "Okay, why not? It's a free product. I can just use it also." I try it. I like it. I like it. But I didn't really understand exactly what's going on, because you cannot understand fondant how good and how bad if you just use it 1 or 2 days. You need to have a more time and more events that you use in the day-to-day basis that you will understand exactly that specification. Because as I said, most of them is very similar, very similar. So I asked more sample and I use it for my normal work, and I like it more and more. And for some things was very different, like for example elasticity, and then like a slow drying ability. All those things really strikes me, and then I decided actually to endorse this product, and I put my face on it. This handsome guy is me, and then I also put my statement on it. I say you can't find the magic fondant does everything. So there is no fondant, magic fondant does everything what you're looking for, but with this fondant you can do many things. So in that point I like to start doing this, show you what's my points. It says over here what a cake decorator expect from good fondant, from the good fondant. I have 12 points here. I'm not doing any kind of comparison with other products. I'm only talking about my view about this product, what kind of boxes I'm ticking over here. So white color is very important. This fondant has got a very white color, and then because if you have an off-white color of fondant, you're mixing other colors, and it's also there's a kind of slight filtration which affect the color that what you're looking for. So whiter is the better, so it is quite white. That's one tick. Silky smooth texture allows good dry for fondant pusher. If I do my own fondant, and because I use the icing sugar from market and from supermarket, and it becomes like a sandy texture after sometimes, but this one it stays very silky, so that the plastic fondant pusher it travels and rides on the surface very nicely. It feels very good about it. So that's another tick. Flexibility for good stretch without tearing. All right, the problem that which we cannot live without it, the gravity, it fights with this fondant. This is most of the time win because there's a good stretch. So when I just roll like this and stretch it, it stretches quite a long distance. So that gives me the possibility that you can go really in deep corners. You can really just stretch the corners in the high cakes. You can get the bottom side quite nicely. So that's a good stuff. A firm and elastic texture that does not allow cracks on the corner. So in this corner, if it takes, let's say this is a cake, in this sharp corner here, when the flat fondant become like this 90 degree, so that corners here for sometimes getting cracked if the fondant dries too quickly. So that doesn't happen also with this one. Slow drying ability, that's very important, does allow leveling. So slow drying is the point in this fondant that really difference, because when, for example, let's say when you're rolling the fondant and you have sort of like hand touch or indentations or something unwanted corners, so you can take your fondant level, just push it like this, and then get straight again because it slow dries. That's simple as that. So another tick. Slow drying ability does not allow elephant skin on skirt of coating. So I'm not so sure everyone knows about elephant skin, the expression, but elephant skin means that when you're coating the cake, the large piece of fondant becomes smaller here, and then like because the large surface becomes smaller, it becomes like a rippling effect if the fondant quickly dries. But with this, because slow drying, it doesn't give it. That's why it says over here as a slogan, no elephant skin. That's another big tick. So slow drying ability to spend more time on detailing three-dimensional cakes. So when you coat the cake like this, it's fine, it's finished. But when we have a three-dimensional cakes, we have to continue to give some indentation, get some detail, some pushes, some additions, some sticky bits and everything. So that's also quite possible with this fondant with the comfort. Firmness to create figurines with minor additions. That's a bit of need here, changes. As it is, you can do everything, but I find this quite sort of like, because of slow drying, it is a little bit of problem, but that problem can be solved with just the addition of 10% of icing sugar will make it everything perfect. Like flowers or figurines, everything so you can do with that with just the addition of, I guess that many fondants are still the same. So because the fondants are created and designed for rolling fondant for coating the cakes, but when it comes to the figurines, you may use it gum paste, but you can also change the fondant into gum paste kind of texture, just additional icing sugar inside. Reusability after exposure in air for sometimes. So that is it kind of reminds me a little story that what's happened to me when I was trying that. So what I did, I actually packed this fondant into little boxes, square boxes, that I tried at corners. That is it like easy to get the especially square corners. Was all good, but after some time I need that boxes back again. I tried to clear up, so I just tear everything off, and then this fondant is go back exactly same texture. So it was a little bit of like hardness, and I just give a little bit of knead and come back to exactly same texture without any lumps, without any crusty bits in it. So that is kind of like a beginning point that I start already thinking about I have to endorse this product. So good taste and bite to change people's perception. Sometimes happening that people come across the information as a complaint, or it's not a complaint, maybe just a comment, and then they say, I like your cake, but they didn't like the icing. So, okay then, you just put the icing on the side, don't eat the icing, just eat the cake. That's fine. I also do sometimes. I don't like to have the icing, but I just have to have the cake. So, but with this one, it's quite a good taste and good also bite. So it's not going to have much of a problem with that kind of people's perception. So easy to roll and not stick on table easily. That is also important that because I use a starch, I just put a little bit of starch on the table, roll it, and I just see that it doesn't stick on the table. Very easy to roll and no problem at all. Last thing I want to say about the humidity resistance, which is a very important point. I can assure you that every single cake, if it's cold, just taken out from the fridge, you coat with any fondant, will get wet because of the humidity. So humidity means what? Just common sense, everybody knows about it, I'm sure, that you take a Coke bottle out of the fridge, you get bubbles on it, water bubbles on it. So this is the humidity attacking on the surface of the cold object. And then once the object becomes room temperature, so the room temperature and the object temperature is same, there is no humidity anymore. There is no attack anymore because it's balanced, the temperature is balanced. So that means if we have a problem with every fondant in every cold cake, it depends which fondant, how much time give you before start getting wet. So I don't know about the recipe, but the way that what is the percentage of vegetable gums or fats or whatever you've been using in this recipe, that is a kind of give me a delay. So when this delay happened, before the cake become wet, it's within that time, because it's reaching the room temperature, so within that long time, doesn't get wet, so it allows me to coat the cake on a cold surface with this fondant, and then I can continue immediately with the decorating. It's not a problem at all. If you'd like to have more information about this product, and if you're not in the yenersway.com, please go to our link to this Vision rolling fondant and just click on my notes. And also you can go directly to their website, which is that polenfood.com.au, polenfood.com.au. So you will have all those prices and everything in there. So this product available in most of the countries, like especially Europe, East Europe, like Russia, China, India, etc. So it's first time coming to Australia. We have it already available for the market. So next thing what I like to do now, I like to make a small little calculations, and I show you how to calculate it. How much fondant we need for which size of a cake. So I think this is a very important question, because if you just grab a fondant and start rolling, either you have not enough or you have too much. So if you make a small little, take a few minutes and make this calculation, you have an exact amount, you roll it in that size, you perfectly right with the thickness also. In order to find out how much fondant we need for that particular cake size, we need to know a couple of numbers, and also we have to understand just a few simple abbreviations that we can fit those numbers into the formulas to get the result what we're looking for at the end. So first of all, is it very, very important that here is you have to know how much gram is 1 liter fondant. So it is not 1 kilo fondant is 1 liter fondant, because it's not water. The only water is 1 to 1. So because the fondant has got a lot of sugar inside, it's a lot heavier than the water. So it is exactly 1,350 grams for this particular fondant, which I'm using the Vision today. For maybe some other fondants, a little bit different, but I don't think too much. So where do I know that? Because I just take the liter jar and I push the fondant inside, exactly 1 liter level, and take it out, put on the scale, so 1,350 grams. So it's important because we have to know the volume of the fondant, how much we're going to roll. From there we start and find out the weight. I did some homework here. I put some abbreviations here and the meanings of it on the side, and then prepare my formulas to reach the result. And I did an isometric view of what's happening here. There's the cake and a fondant on top, and then also side view, so to understand that a little bit more about this simple mathematics. So let's go through all those numbers and abbreviations first. FW is the, let's say, fondant weight. This is what we're looking for at the end. Cake-wise, we need only the height, which is h, and then the r, which is diameter of the cake. So that is the h, and that is the r, the size, the width, the diameter of the cake. And the next thing is the r in circle, diameter of the roll fondant, which is, that one is a side view of this. So that is the r in circle. That is the diameter of the fondant. And then radius is a half of this. So half of that here, which is r. Okay. And then the lowercase h is the height of the fondant, what you want to roll. So this is your decision. And a is the area of the fondant, which is going to be rolled completely, and the V is the volume of the fondant. So if we know all those numbers, we can already start calculating the formula. So the h is, let's start with the centimeter, because if you start with millimeter, numbers are very, very big. So 10 is the h, and 25 is the r. So the r in circle will be the r, which is the diameter of the cake, plus 3 times the height. Because why? We go one time here on the side, and then go through the diameter here, another time here on the side, and then I use one more time the height, which is the half here and there, as a skirt on the side. So 3 times height will be just perfectly sized that can go around and then get a bit of skirt underneath. That is 3 times 10 is 30, plus 25 is 55, correct? 55. That is 55. That is the 10 and 25. All right. The R, of course, the half of that 55 is 27.5, which is this one. So the area of the fondant is just a very known formula. Is radius square times pi number 3.14. Let's calculate that first. 27.5 times 27.5 times 3.14, which is 2,374. 2,374.6. All right. And then volume is the area times height. The height is 4 millimeter, so as a centimeter is 0.4 millimeter. So that one times 0.4 centimeter is a 4 millimeter, which is 949.8 came out. So the volume of the fondant, what we're going to roll, has to be 949.8. And then we know that the 1 liter of the fondant is 1.35 kilo. So if I times this, times 1.35 kilo, I end up 1,282 point something. So that means if I take 1,282 gram fondant and roll it for 55 centimeter wide, it will be just enough to get this the cake done, which is 100 millimeter height, 250 millimeter width, with 4mm thickness of fondant. So if you find all those things is a bit fiddly, so we don't have to do that, I show you something else, very simple. You go to our website. So if you go to our website, let me show you this close up like that so you can see. If you go to our website, and there is here a section called resources. In this resources, we provide you some calculators and all that stuff. The only thing is you have to log in. So if you don't register, it's just free of charge, and put your email address, please. So you can access all those tools here. Fondant calculator, click on this one here. So you end up here. That is the fondant calculator. Let's close up a little bit, like that. So let's put all those things again here. We're looking for a round cake. You can choose square or round. So we choose round here. And then weight-wise, let's say gram we're going to choose. Okay, you can also choose like a kilogram or ounce. Metric-wise, I like to choose centimeter. Okay. Okay, then cake height, we have to enter 10. And cake diameter is 25. And then the thickness of the fondant, you have to make it always millimeter. 4. And click on the calculate. Let's see what happened. You see, exactly came out, because we use the same numbers, 1,282 gram and 55 centimeter wide. So that's another way of, please welcome to do that, to use that however you like. All right. So now we do our calculations, homework, all is finished. Now, I'm not going to get exactly the same amount because we're not using any cake in this tutorial. I'm going to take a piece of fondant and show you how to roll 2 different ways. I like to start from the very basic principles to just remind you again. You must have clean hands, clean tools, and clean tabletop, and they are not cleaned a few hours before. Just clean before you start rolling the fondant. As I mentioned, there may be some dust that you never realize it just 10 minutes before. All right. Secondly, that you must choose the right tools and make sure that they are all available on the table, not some here and some somewhere else, because this is a kind of work that you have to start and finish in a kind of fluent way. We don't need cake over here to worry about, because we're not going to coat any cake, and also not worry about how much fondant we need. I'm just going to grab some. And next thing is you have to give a good knead to the fondant what you select. So I don't think there's any fondant is kind of like gives you that you can just take it out from baguette and roll it and achieve something nice with that. So every fondant has to be really reconditioned. It's just about with your feeling that you have to give a knead and then feel it that is smoothness and elasticity there, then you can start rolling. So let's do that one now. So this fondant, as you see, that is really good packed, quite a thick plastic, good protection, and zip tie. As you see, the color is really nice and white. Look at that, snow white. Okay, let's give a bit of cut here now. And then it's quite firm, so which is a very good thing. Okay, a little bit more. Should be enough. All right. You see, even that is quite firm for a start, and it will be very quickly to get into the condition. I realize with this fondant, it's very quickly is possible to get it smooth. A little bit of starch. Okay, with this first method, how to roll fondant, I like to do it a rectangular piece or square piece because what's important is when you knead the fondant, And then depends what do you want to achieve as a shape. You have to start from the same shape. So if you want to end up in the round rolled fondant for a round cake, you have to start from a bowl shape fondant. And if you want to do it for rectangular or square form, then you have to start from a sausage shape. So what I'm talking about like this, that is the first round shape. The joining underneath, the smooth side on the top. And then if you want to make it square, and you have to do it like this and start from that kind of shape. So let's do that now. Let me check kind of like a stretch test over here. So as you see that, it's have a really good stretch here. All right. Okay. In this first method, I like to show you how to roll this fondant with the heavy duty rolling pin. And then if this fondant is not larger than that too much, this is 400 millimeter. So if it's not more than 45 centimeter, you can use this one to lift up and transport this fondant to the cake. Otherwise, you can just use this one to lift it up from table and transport to the cake. All right, we're almost ready. Okay, rectangular. Table is still clean. As you realize that is not much sticking on the table here. All right. And then is again, there's one good side and also one joining side. I'm gonna just get good side on the top. All right. You start with a little bit more extra amount of starch. So this is a cloudy one. All right. So give a bit of push. Try to maintain that shape, that what you want to end up at the end. So you can always in between, just touching a little bit, maintain that shape accordingly. At this stage, you have to watch the bubbles. So I can see here one. Because more earlier, to catch those bubbles, you don't have all those little dots on the surface after that. Okay. See, in this kind of shape, what I'm doing is, I'm just turning always 90 degrees, like that. So when I go this way, I maybe have some bumps like that. So when I turn in this way, all those bumps this way get straight again in that direction. One more bubble. Okay. So what's the tricky part here is after halfway through, I'm just going to put this on the side here. Give a bit of like cleaning again. So make sure that you have no residues like this on the table. All right. A little bit of wet towel. Clean here, clean there. So the table is nice and clean again, one more time. All right. I give a little bit of sort of really airy starch. And I put this icing upside down. So you remember that nice side we selected from the top, and then you see over here now there's lines of this roller, the texture come out already, and here's very smooth. So what I like to have that smooth texture at the final surface of the fondant. That's why I make it upside down. To gain two things. First of all, the straightness of the table. I like to gain it as a final surface. And also, that side of the fondant now is actually locked and completely protected from air. So I'm going to continue rolling this shape and this position. So my target thickness is 4 millimeters. So there is one more bubble here. At the moment, also, a good thing about this, because all the bubbles that we can see from the top surface, if I do these little touches and get the bubbles off, I'm not actually disturbing the lower side. It will be still maintained nice and straight. Okay. Do you realize that I just rolled only 2-3 times, and after that I give some just a little bit of movement to the fondant, and you realize that there's no more starch underneath. So there's no more starch underneath. So that's a good thing about this fondant. I'm not using a kind of like silicone mat or something. That's it. So now our target thickness is the 4 millimeters. So when I feel that it's about 5 millimeters is already there, I'm just taking this my side guidance here on the side, and then give this fondant a little bit of reshaping. All right, put it here. Is this big enough? Now go again, just to make sure that it's the side guides helping you to give the final result. All right. So I'm going to now push as much as I need to get this thickness. So if you feel that you can't go any more finer and thinner, that means your final is already there. So now I can see that on the top there is some imperfections, but when I go here, it's perfectly smooth. All right. So the thing is, now I can take my time. I can leave this one over here like this. I can take my time. I bring my cake over here and then just make sure that the sides are clean and there's no wet things around, and make sure that your surface is sticky enough, and maybe apply some spray water or something, and then lift up this, and maybe just use this one now. All right, lift up this, and now what you do is you have to push here slightly to make that edge not so sharp. Otherwise, when you do that, you have this indentation over here. All right, so get like this, and then when you put it on the cake, you go this way and cover the cake, and then you have this very good result with that. So that was the first way of rolling the fondant, by using heavy duty roller, and then eventually you may lift up with a kind of PVC pipe. So let me just clear up now and show you the second method. So the second method we will use without this. We will use only that one. So the table is clean again, nice and dry. The next method, the second method I like to show you, yes, I will use the PVC pipe. But other than that, I'm going to roll this PVC pipe over the fondant, the rolling action, and probably the last 30% of the stretching fondant with just sliding, not with rolling. So that is the interesting part of this method. So give a good knead again to the fondant. A little bit of starch. And this time I'm going to do a round rolling, so not the square or rectangular. Okay, that's why I start with a round shape. All right. A little bit more at the beginning. All right. So, make some space. Maintain the round shape. not much. One more. Okay, now turning again upside down. It is such a comfortable act. You know, it's not really hard to do it. Just hold the pipe and then just go slide back and forwards. So you can actually turn your directions like this. Look at that. All right. In one stage, you have to get your guidance stripes, thickness guides, and then make sure that you're doing that in the right kind of amount. It's almost there. Okay, I already achieved that 4 mm. I'm going to go slightly thinner to show you that the sliding works. See? That's it. We give it a little bit more starch here. Just a little bit. That's it. So when we're turning this way, you can see it's very nice and smooth here. So with this rolling pin, the non-stick rolling pin, it sticks on the surface. You cannot do that. You have to continue to roll it. Okay, so it's not possible with that rolling pin. With this one, yes. All right. So with this action now here, that I show you 2 different ways of how to roll fondant properly, getting ready for coating a cake. So it doesn't matter you slide your rolling pin on the surface of the fondant or you roll your rolling pin on the surface of the fondant. At the end of the day, what counts is like you have the nicely rolled fondant, nice right thickness, and then smooth. There is no bubbles on it, and it's large enough to cover that cake. So that's actually count the first. Okay. In fact, what we did with masking the cake, rolling the fondant, everything, they are all is middle of the way. All right. So we're not getting close to the finishing line yet. So the next tutorial, what I'm going to show you is how to take this one and put on the cake nicely, coat the cake. So that's actually the most important thing, even that these are also important steps. All right. This is the end of the rolling fondant tutorial. Thank you very much again for watching Yener's Way, and it was a pleasure for me to maybe show you something that you didn't come across before. So God bless you all, and you see me on the next tutorial. Thank you very much. Bye for now.